Yeah, and I think artists would need that, right?
Mm.
All right. So I'm with Kellie North from Studio 8 Currumbin, and we just did an amazing talk with the 6 month cohorts and on a happy hour. So we decided to do a series within the series of little art snippets of information because Kellie has a unique experience of being an artist turned gallerist. It's an artist run space. And I know the word gallerist feels like a bit, oh my God, you're a gallerist now. Um, so yeah, so Kelly's down for it to chat about a few things. But we're going to separate them because there was so much info, right?
There was. Yeah, hope everyone got something out of it. I saw people taking notes, so that's good because there's so much you've
Yeah,
got
and there
to
were questions.
bring yourself back. Yeah.
Yeah, they were taking notes, of course. Like you're amazing. You've got lots to give and share. And it's hard, not hard, but there's only so much time. So maybe this is really great, like dividing it into little chunks where people can really take all the notes, sit with it,
Yeah.
just that topic, and then we'll approach other ones in different recordings.
Yeah, I think so. And it's not too much to digest.
Yeah. And especially the two of us at once.
I know.
There's double energy. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and we're here for it.
I
Okay,
love it.
so we are talking about presentation. We're talking about everything, but
Yeah.
my our perspective as an artist on this end of showing your work is all the making and the thinking and the aligning it with your, the whys and the hows and talking about presentation. But that flip when you actually do turn up to a
And then
space
you,
in public,
yeah,
hand over your physical work to somebody else. There are certain expectations from
yeah,
a gallery art, wherever you're showing. So we're going to talk about presentation and the things that are super important for artists to think about.
for sure. And, again, you don't realize how much of the detail is necessary. I mean, you've been in a bubble as a painter, building this body of work, and it's on your easel, and you're about looking at the story and looking at your strokes and looking at your mark making. And then you've come out of that bubble and you go, oh my God, there's the piece of work. It's there. I'm done. I think it's done. So what do you do then? So
Mm.
again, now you step into the administration and the business side of the work and
Yes.
to get gallery ready. So I suppose the next step I think is really the presentation of the artwork or how you want it presented to hand to a gallery and say, put this on your wall. I'm proud. I'm ready to have this on your wall. So that can come in different ways. If you're a painter that doesn't decide to frame your work, you might want that streamlined piece on a wall to be invisible type of thing, or yeah, have no edge. Then I think seeing the work come through now and hanging it on the wall, it's really important to me as a gallery person to have those edges painted and have all of the just looking at the sides of it and the complete piece. When it's hanging, people do come up to it closely and they scrutinize the piece. So they're looking at it, they're looking at the sides, they're looking at the back. So it's really important that you finish the work how you want it. If it's not framed, then definitely edges need to be clean, painted, to a distinct finish and professionally finished, I think. And if you are framing the work, then that's a whole little story. Have you got a framer? Have you done your research? Have you looked around your area? Is the framer conducive to get the work to be framed? How far ahead are their lead times? These framers are busy and they can be sometimes 2 week turnarounds. So have you
100%.
booked a show?
Yeah.
Or if you have booked a show, then you need to look at your timelines and work back for
Yes.
framing. So you need to talk to your framer. Communication is key. Make sure they're doing the work that you are happy with, and you've got a couple of people that you have in the back because one framer may not be able to finish your work in time. So you need to have another strong framer that you're happy with to maybe put to, if you need the work done in a certain period of time. So that's really important. And decide what that frame looks like. Is that a shadow box frame? Is that a
Yeah.
frame where it's tight, butted up against? What's the look you're going for? What color is that frame? Is it raw timber? Is it waxed timber? Is it black? Is it white? Is it gold? What do you want that piece to say, and how do you want it to be said? And I think that's what a frame tends to do, if that's how you want it to look. If they're prints, glass is really important. Glass is a really important factor when you're looking at prints or any imagery or any painting or anything under glass, because the reflective aspect of glass can almost ruin a piece when it's on a wall and it's in a glary situation. So you really need to possibly, in my opinion, being a photographer and a printmaker, everything's under glass. So it chips up that price as well, that price point, but it also really can set the work aside from a reflective piece because, it's been, it really takes on a different energy when it's on a wall and you can see straight through that glass to the piece and the glass is invisible. It's
Yeah.
remarkable, actually. It's quite remarkable.
Yeah.
Glass is amazing. It's
It
quite
is.
amazing.
And really
Yeah.
expensive, but it's really good.
It is really good if you chip up. But there's different levels of glass as well. You can have your museum grade glass or your just general glass. So there is a couple of pieces in between, UV non-reflective, and then non-reflective has a bit of a sandblasting on it, which I choose sometimes for a bit of my work because I want that very ever so subtle blur softness. It's hard to explain. It doesn't blur it, but it sort of just gives it this softness. So again,
Okay.
what do you want the piece to showcase and how do you want it, what do you want it to say? Yeah.
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 Yeah. Can I just add to the framing thing?
Yeah.
Sometimes it can neutralize. So I know with my work has been in the past, um, who am I kidding? It still is really bloody colorful and loud,
Yep.
So I haven't, some galleries have preferred that I don't frame, and that's their
Yep.
preference. Some galleries prefer that I do frame. But it also, even as an artist choice, it can be a neutral way, not a neutral way, but a way to kind of create a neutral breathing space between the painting and the wall. So it's
Yeah.
not just, painting, wall. It's kind of like contains it and it gives it just another bit of breathing space.
Yeah, it does.
So that's also a nice way to kind of create that when you've got bold work, loud
Yes.
work, and
Yep.
any work. And another
Yep.
thing, if you've got a body of work or an exhibition, it can tie them together. So,
Yep.
you might have a few different
Yep.
things, but the frame is a way to pull them together.
Yep.
Or the other thing, it can be a statement. So you can,
Mm,
like,
that's
say, go
right.
gold and
Yeah,
ornate, or
which I've done before. I've had these gold ornate frames, and it was just the Baroque style work that I was doing. It lent itself to that, and that was the point. Yeah.
yeah, a real statement. Or those neon pink Perspex
Yeah.
ones, which I've always wanted to do, and one
Oh,
day I will.
totally do that.
So,
Oh
and with
my
the
God.
light coming through the background.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. And even at one point, I painted this, like when you said about paint the sides of the canvas,
Yes.
100%. I was taught that very early on, have
Oh,
clean edges.
yep.
Um, but I went through this phase of, yeah, I will, but they'll be neon pink.
That'll be
You know,
pink, which
yeah.
is also hot, right? Yeah, you could do
But
that. That's the
you
point.
can, and some people do. But when I did it, I was like, with my crazy colorful stuff, I'm like, oh, I don't know, it's just kind of added that extra. So then I
Okay.
painted them black because I'm like, I'm still not going to conform. I'm going to do something different. Paint them black. And I'm like, oh man, I've just like, it was really tricky because you've got to get those edges.
Right. Yeah, this is it. I
Nice.
mean, I say this, it's not an easy thing unless
Mm,
you're perhaps dragging it round the side like an, what's the word? Yeah, you're bringing it around the side, but it's hard.
yeah, it is. But it's so nice when you see somebody that's done it well, you know? And
And
like
even
you
if it's
say,
a frame, sorry, Sky, even if it is in a frame and then it sort of fades into fades into the frame. Do you know what I mean? There's not like this sharp, or if it is
What?
sharp, it's tidy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So it's still kind of, like I say, in a frame, it's still nice to have that. So it's just gone. It's just gone.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to add that.
No, absolutely. And again, the setting and the vibe of the show as well makes a
Mm,
big difference as to framing or unframed. You know, if
yeah,
like I've seen beautiful works of yours and they're in an industrial setting, you know, I mean, it lends itself to a piece with no frame because it's just there. This is the raw painting, this is it. And that's
mm,
all you need, you know, it
mm,
could be that. And then
mm,
there's more of a retail situation where you want someone to walk in and take a piece off the wall and literally put it onto their wall. They don't have to think
yeah,
about where to frame it or who they're going to get to frame it because that just adds to their lack of time that they have to actually do the research. So there's
100%.
there's that as well.
And also, if it's in a show, generally they can't take that piece until the end of the show. So they've walked in, they've fallen
Yep,
in love, or for whatever reason, invested in this piece. They've got to wait for the end of the show to pick it up. Then, if they have to go and take it to a framer and then wait again, it could be a month
could be. And
or
they're
longer
desperate to have this
before they
piece.
have that piece. And that's really frustrating when you're really excited about something. So yeah, it just kind of cuts that out. But the flip side that we've touched on is you don't know what they want in their
No,
house. And
certainly
you
not.
can never pick that. You can never guess. So, sometimes going neutral in something is just a good thing to do. Yes, statements sometimes here and there, or whatever the work, but their house might be all white on white, and they want white frames on everything, and you've gone and put an oak float frame. They
That's
may
right.
change it. That's fine. So it's tricky. It's
However, too,
but
communication is key, and
yeah,
especially sort of my realm in this model, communication. Like I mean, with painters, so I've noticed, like it's quite easy to sometimes take a canvas out of a frame and put it into another one. So it might well be that they might want a black frame, and it's currently in a oak frame. It might be that you can help them or you can get it to them
yeah,
or you can,
yeah.
get your framer to take it out of that frame and perhaps put it into another frame. So
Yeah,
yes,
it's all
communication
doable.
too.
Yeah. Oaks,
Yeah.
oaks generally like that ground of it's neutral, natural, it's beautiful on pretty much every color.
Yeah.
So that's a really good one. But yeah. Anyway, keep going with presentation. There's so much to nut out about all of these things.
There is, yeah, and I won't take all your time, but yeah, glass is very important. So we went over that. And also, if you're entering sort of a show or a group show and you might have built a number of works for a body of work, but then you want to bring in other works that also that you've done previously that you haven't sold in a show or you've kept them and you think, oh, that'll go in another show, but they have been in storage. You really have to make sure that you present those pieces without dust or scratches, or if there is scratches on them, to touch them up. Make sure they are at the level of your new work and it is a very real representation of where you're at in your practice now.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. So yeah, no scratches, no dust, no mold, and I know this sounds like it's ordinary stuff, but it is things that when you're in a busy time frame and you're getting stuff together, you miss these things sometimes. So you just got to make sure you're really taking in exactly how you want to be represented from
Mm,
yourself. And that
mm,
comes with wiping glass, making sure there's no, mold and stuff on the glass, because being a print girl, I know that that can happen if it's in storage, even if it's been, if it's been wrapped and things, moisture, and make sure that the print itself hasn't got mold or anything on it, because if it does, is that going to work for you in this show, or you have to reprint it and reframe it, or you're going to have, I don't know, but that's
yeah.
very
Yeah,
important.
mold's not
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
And works on paper, if you got to decide too, if the works are on paper, how you want them framed. Do you want them matted? Do you want
Mm,
it deckled edge? Do you want them floating in your frame? Do you want them edge to edge? Do you want the white if it's a limited edition print like I do? Do I have the signature and the number showing? Or if you're doing a commission or something for someone, you might have to butt that frame up against the edge. Do I sign the back of that print so that they do know if they're taking that piece out of that frame, perhaps down the track, that they still know it's a limited edition print.
Mm,
If the edge, if the white has been taken off or something, yeah.
mm.
So
How do you feel, as a gallerist perspective, about paperworks that aren't framed?
oh, I think it can work sometimes, actually. And again, haven't had one here, but I've actually thought about having like one of those. I've seen them down in other galleries too, Brunswick Gallery and things like that, where there's a hanging system and it's literally just, these bull clips or clipped. I think I really that lends itself to a vibe of a show. Like it
Yeah,
depends on what vibe you're actually going for with your show, and that's all in the exhibition, statement and feel and whatnot going forward, but in the body of work that you're creating. So yeah, I haven't had that in here yet, but I might be the first one to do that.
cool.
Otherwise, it's nice to have a price point difference, and they could be when they're on paper. Yes, there is also a presentation that I think is necessary, like to have them in a cello sleeve that's, the same size as the piece. So if it's an A3, you would have to research and find those A3 cello sleeves, which are easily, attainable. You just
Cool.
have to find the right
Yeah.
supply. Then in that, I think it needs to come with a matte board. It needs to be a solid backing board that it's not
Yeah.
going to crumple. And then in my prints, if I'm selling them just prints, there's a certificate of authenticity, there's an artist statement, and a bit of a blurb about the piece, because my pieces usually come with a narrative. So yeah, it's just how you want that presented. Is there a card? Is it sealed with a sticker or a gold bossed something?
Yeah.
However it is. But I think, yeah, that gives a point of difference. And people do like to sort of fist through a print, and it might be a nice point of difference in a show. Yeah,
Mm. And to consider all those things for everything, painting, can be ceramics, printmaking, anything. It's like all these things are different, but they're still, I think the point is like be aware and try to be as meticulous and professional as you can if you're approaching a gallery or if you are actually having a show
that's
and
right.
presenting
Because
it to the world.
that's right. And once you do this stuff once,
Yeah.
you're aware of it. So
Yeah.
then that can be your base standard, and then everything can evolve from there. So you can just start with the cello sleeve with no sticker. And then next time you might think, oh, I like how that girl did that. I love the
Yeah.
whole press and boss thing. And
Yeah.
I've bought one of those. So some of my prints and my print detail has my Kellie North Creative emboss on it,
Yeah.
embossed stamp on it. So things like that can evolve as
Yeah.
you evolve with showing and evolve with wherever that show might be. It could be in a unique space like this. It could be this experience.
Yeah.
You might be in a market experience. I don't know. You might be in a mid-tier gallery. It might be a high-end gallery. It depends on where you're showing as to where
Mm.
you want that show, what that show
Mm.
offers.
And cost and stuff like that
Yeah.
you need to factor in. All right. What else about presentation?
Hanging, the detail on the hanging. This usually helps. I mean, your framer helps you with this. And if you've got a good relationship with your framer and you know a few of these tips and tricks, is what you're doing here is just to sort of go into, if you haven't got a framer, go into framers and go, where do you place your D-rings? I've had experience, they've been a bit low. If they are low, the D-rings, the piece actually tilts forward on the wall when it's hung. Therefore, the lighting system is not hitting the color and the paint and the painting at the right place.
And
So
it's
there
hanging like that.
it's hanging like that, and it's not
Hanging
looking
like that.
good. It's not looking good. It's saying, help me, put my hang rights. So then the gallery has to put some hang rights in to make it conducive. Or then, someone's taken those D-rings out. So really getting that good from the get-go and having
Yeah.
that relationship with your frame and knowing that he's gonna or she is going to send that piece to you, and you're going to be like, oh, it's amazing, hung, done, walk away.
And I think reaching out to wherever you're showing, the gallerist, the show, wherever, and ask and say, what do you require? Because
Yeah.
every gallery system and hang system is different, and every
Yep.
D-ring system. So
Yes.
I know with one of my gallerists, she has 10 centimeters from the top all the time, 10 centimeters from the top.
There you go.
So each gallery might be different, but reach out and ask.
For sure. And exactly, yeah, because 10 centimeters from the top, absolutely. Because if it's too high, you can see the little hangy hook
Or the
at the
wiry
top,
things.
the
Yep.
wiry things, and that's not cool. So it needs to be in the right spot. Therefore, yeah, yeah. And the D-rings come in different sizes. So your framer again will know this. Have a talk to them because the larger works are going to require a larger D-ring. And
Yep.
those D-rings need to be solid. For the gallery who's hanging your work, or you're hanging your work in a gallery, you need to know that that's not going to come out of the timber and fall on the floor.
Yep.
So that's about liability too. So making sure that your framer is and those D-rings are solid in the back, which, they will be.
Yeah. Yeah, those little tiny baby D rings don't fit
Yeah,
on any gallery system
no,
thing. You know, those little weenie ones? They're the
yeah.
ones that you get just, for people
Bunnings.
to do in their own house. Yeah.
Yeah,
With wire, they don't work. They
absolutely.
need to be a gallery, like at least like, your pinky kind of thing or bigger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely 100%. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's just definitely. And then comes the wire. There's different wires. And I think if you're just starting out and you can't afford to do something or a framer or whatnot, and you are putting backing on, let's just say, you need to have the covered wire. You need to have proper wire. You need to have the sizable D rings, and you need to wrap that right around and make sure it is tight and tidy
Mhm.
because you can stick yourself on that wire. I've done it. If the wire is sticking out and you're handing a gallerist this piece that, just isn't frame. And then there was another piece of wire hanging off something, and I was like, no, this is
It's a
no, this is
hazard. It's a
yeah,
hazard. You got
it's a
cuts all over yourself.
it's
Art's
got to
beautiful.
be.
You're like, it's so beautiful, but I'm bleeding.
That's right. And I mean, I think the wire opposed to a cord, because sometimes some people have sent in a cord, or maybe the frame comes with a different type of cord. I think wire is your option. Wire is
Yeah.
definitely the go-to rather than a cord because the cord can be slack, whereas a
Yeah.
wire, once it's taut, it will
Mm.
hang straighter and cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah. If
Mm.
if needed, right? Because I know a lot of my
Oh,
galleries are like, no wire.
oh,
Don't want a
sure.
wire.
That's true too, because it
Yeah.
can just hang from the D rings, and if the D rings are done well, and
Yeah.
the hang rights, sorry, your gallery system, you don't even need the wire. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. What else?
That's about it.
That's about
Sort
it. So, oh no, well, hang on. So we've covered like make sure the edges are
Yep.
clean regardless of what
Yep.
you choose. The framing, the options of framing.
Options of framing, and they must be free of scratches. Be careful with when you're choosing framing, especially from my personal print world. There are certain levels of frames. Timber
Yeah.
frames are probably ideal for a lot of people because you can sand that back. If there's any scuff
Yeah.
marks or
Yeah.
anything like that, if you've got a natural timber, that is, you can usually
Yeah.
scuff those out if you've had it somewhere that got something on it like that.
Yeah.
But then there are some frames that are prone to scratching. I know those frames now, and I just don't go near them because anything will scratch them. If they're front to front, they'll usually come with a scratch. If you're delivering artworks and the way that you deliver the artworks and the way that they are actually transported makes a big difference for
Mhm.
scratching,
Made me think of something. Yep.
yeah, scuffing, any paint. Is there any paint? Have you picked it up with paint on your fingers,
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yes, and then it made me think of something I'll talk about after this. Um, And you mentioned before in our talk about some people really vibe the back. So, and they look up close at the
Yeah,
side, like at all those little things. So just make sure everything looks as best as you can. It's
best as
representing
it
you
can.
and the space that it's in.
That's right. Yep,
Mm.
for sure.
Great. And then, yeah, that's great. The other thing that I was thinking of just quickly when you were saying about scratching, wrapping your works,
Oh,
2 cent,
yes.
bubble.
Yes.
um, you know, and also as a painter, if it's not quite like one of my galleries has drilled it into me, bubbles never on the inside
Never on
because
the
they can
inside.
leave an
Oh,
imprint.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even on
So
glass.
always on the outside. Yeah, I
Always on the
suppose you're going to
outside,
get the bubbles.
even on the glass. And I just wiped over one here in a group show because I was like, oh, wow, what is that? And it only came to me, I'm like, oh, that's the bubble wrap. And I had to really clean that glass because, yeah, it imprints onto the glass. So glass,
Everything.
paint, yeah, bubbles on the
Bubbles
outside,
on the outside.
bubbles on the outside.
It's a pain. You know what I hate about bubbles on the outside? And they need to invent something different. The sticky tape doesn't, it's not the same as the smooth side. The sticky tape sits flush when
You know
you're
what I love instead of sticky tape?
that cling
I know
wrappy
it's
thing.
not environmental, but it is the cling wrappy thing. It's awesome.
I know I
No,
have discovered
I don't
that in
know
the
about,
last
is
couple of
that a thing for painters? I don't know, but just for
yeah.
corners,
And it's the little roll
yeah,
and you go
it's
to
that.
town on it and you're like,
Yeah,
doo.
you've got to get your zhuzh on. You've got to have a system. You've got to put the corners on. You've got to hold it, and it's a thing.
Yep.
But even if it's like on the edge of your table and you sort of hold it and you hold one end and then you sort of go round on the edge of the table, that's a really good way if it's a certain size. Don't know about your larger works, how that would
Oh,
happen.
you need another
If there's
person.
three
I
people.
swear to God. Yeah. I'm like to the kids, come hold this for mummy now. Hold that down, hold that down. And then if you don't hold it tight, then the bubble starts to loosen. You're,
Yeah,
no, you've
I
got to get
know.
it
And the corners come off. So yeah, you have to learn how to do it, but I like it. It just is firmer. It's not
in.
moving.
Easy to come off and there's not tape everywhere. And
Yeah.
also, yes, you say environmentally, yes, but it actually preserves the original bubble wrap
Yes,
better to be
does. And
reused.
you're not pulling tape off and ripping the bubble wrap, it
And
looks nicer. If we're getting into detail, I love that. Like I keep the wrapping of people who come into a group show
another
that I
point.
call
Yeah.
out because, but I'm OCD and I take off the pub. I cut it actually because I'm like, I know that that's going to rip. So I'm just going
Yep.
to cut that and keep that bubble wrap tidy
Yep.
and write your name on it because if it doesn't sell, it might have to
Yep.
go back home. So
Yep.
it does
Yep.
preserve it better. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So that's so environmentally friendly, kind of, yeah, the recycling of the things. That's awesome. Thank you, Kelly. I think that's really helpful. And we're going to go through all of the other topics, just, all different recordings because we've got a lot to give, right? And
There's
especially
lots of
you. Yeah, awesome. Any other tips on presentation or that's for now?
For now, I think that's a good nutshell. I think that's
Yeah.
good to percolate over. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And if there's anything anybody wants us to talk about, right? Or
With comments,
questions,
yeah, if anyone has anything that I missed, because I'm sort of looking at it, yeah, from both perspectives, but if there's anything else people want to know, I'd love to be able to either
any
research it
excuse for
or I
us
will
to,
just
yeah.
to
And any
talk
excuse for us to get, yeah, to kind of
and
go, oh,
share.
yeah, we'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, we do. So good.
That's
So
awesome.
good.
All right. Well, thanks,
Thanks,
Kelly.
Guy.
I'll see you soon.
Thanks, love.
Bye.